Yo, what's up guys, Aiden here. So today in this video, I'd like to do a bit of a account review and also go over some trades that I've been taking over the past week or so. Those of you who have seen my last video will know that I recently withdrew $10,000 from my account because I was trading so badly. Basically, I added $9,000 to my account initially because I'd been trading so well. And when I added that money to my account, all my rules went out the window and I was beginning to start a drawdown. And the one thing I did well was I recognized that and withdrew that money straight away. So this past week for me has been about getting back to basics and regaining a bit of confidence. My confidence was a little bit shaken, and I feel like I've done that relatively well. In addition to giving you guys an account review, I will also go over some of the trades I've taken over the past week or so and how I made around $400. Now, the downside to the stabilizing the ship is that I've missed some really good opportunities. I've lacked a little bit of self-belief and a little bit of conviction, and I missed I'd say like a 400% move from my entry, even though I was watching and waiting. I just didn't pull the trigger. And then today I missed a sort of 80% move, even though I was in the stock. I just sold it right away because I didn't really have the conviction in my plan. So I'll go over those things as well, and hopefully it will be of some use to you. Oh, also, yeah, I've decorated my office/YouTube studio, so hopefully I'll be in there from next week or so. All right, cool. Cheers. Cool. So just before we have a look at some charts, just a quick account update for you guys. So before withdrawing that $10,000 from my account was 24,000. So obviously withdrawing that took me to 14,000. And over the past week or so, I've made around $500. So currently my account is around 14,500, which I am pleased with. It did start at 7,400, so it is growing nicely. But at the same time, I have missed opportunities, and I'm thinking, well, it could have been this, which isn't good trading psychology, but I'm aware those thoughts are there. Anyway, let's have a look at some charts. Cheers. All right, cool. So I would like to go over 4 different tickers with you. The first two are I would say, my best 2 trades over the past week or so, and the second 2 tickers are both the tickers that I sort of missed amazing opportunities on, and I'm kicking myself a little bit about. Before you guys say it, I know that's not good. You should just be on to the next ticker. There's just something there inside me at the minute that's like, oh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. So it is what it is. I'm not going to react and take another trade as a result of that. I'm just aware those thoughts and feelings are going on. So the first ticker I would like to show you is Uxin. Now this is part of the Chinese. This is a Chinese ticker. Obviously we had all the Chinese tickers running recently because of the Chinese stimulus until today, and some bad news came out and now they're all tanking. So but this was part of that run. Now I traded it on this day here. Okay, now the reason why I traded it on that day was because I was going off the 10-minute chart. You see here clearly it's following this trend. Okay, now I think there was a lot of people who wanted this, a lot of shorts were expecting this to break 5. So I was thinking, well, if it can hold and break this trend line, and some of the other Chinese stocks were still sort of quite hot, I thought this could have a decent run, a decent push. So one of the other sort of indicators I've been using recently is this, what's it called, volume, I can't remember what it's called, visible range volume profile. So I could see here, this basically just shows you the amount of volume at that particular price. And I sort of picked up using this tool from sort of a guy called Tanner, who is a senior member of the Roland Wolf team. So I could see here that if it did break 5, it's got sort of like a liquidity pocket here, or lack of liquidity here. So, you know, there's no potential support until this level where it could have a first green day. So that was my other option if it did break 5. However, as it kept holding, like I say, I was thinking, well, if it breaks 5, breaks this wedge, then it could have a run. Now this is like a multi-day breakout in the sense that it breaks this multi-day trend line here, then it comes back and it checks this level and says, yep, this is working, and then it's on. So I started in a little bit earlier, was chasing a little bit. I added, and then I was risking. Basically, it took me a while to sort of realize what level should I be risking on. So I was thinking, oh, I don't want to risk off this 5, it's too far away. So I was thinking, well, I should be risking off this trend line. Maybe a tiny little bit of give, but I should be risking off this trend line because that's the line it comes back and may come back and check. But if it breaks that, I'm going to say my thesis is no longer valid. So it was so illiquid here. There was nothing going on. There was a bit of a wide spread, and I was risking off 130, and the low here was 131 on this lowest candle. And I actually sized down a third because I was thinking, I got scared. I was thinking, well, if this breaks my risk and, you know, there's going to be some slippage and I'm too big size wise, and I wasn't too big. I just kind of got scared and sold a third, and then instantly it started working and I just sold it all the way up, and my best sell was like 693, I think, which was really great. I was really pleased with that. So in a different market on this day, I probably would have held this and sort of, well, you know, I'm really bad at patience, but I would have sort of been more inclined to sell, to hold this to see if it broke out. But the market was relatively slow, and so I wanted to take a nice easy single. I wasn't expecting that it had the juice to break out. Whereas in the past, I would have thought, well, this is breaking out the wedge, it's going to do it. But that's not what the market was currently offering. So I am pleased that my expectations were, I feel, in line with what the market was offering on this particular day. So yeah, I made, I think, what is it, 170 on this. So yeah, again, playing relatively smaller size compared to a couple of weeks ago. So that was the first one, CNEY. Sorry, UXIN. The second one was CNEY. I played this for a first green day. So again, Chinese ticker. I played it on this day here, looking for a first green day. You can see here it's had 3 green days in a row, then a sizable pullback, and then I'm looking for a bounce or a first green day. The kind of thing that put me off this ticker was that it's not clean chart. It's up into this resistance, and so I wasn't super excited about this run up or about the bounce. But I did pay the bounce, and I did make, where was it, 195 off it on, what was it, day, the 2nd of October. So I'll show you how I traded it. So we can see here, let's go to the 5-minute chart. We can see here, this is its run up, and then it has this pullback. Now, I'm unsure what level is going to hold and what you know, what's it going to bounce from at this point. I can see it's potentially got support in this area, which is why it held. So when it had this gap up, I was thinking, well, this could be the day. But I was also aware that I really need to be risking off this low here, and that was, you know, way too far away from me. So I'm ideally looking for a pullback, which we got, and then I got in on this double bottom here. I can't remember the exact price I bought at. I think probably around 72, I think. And I'm risking off, I moved my risk up actually when this held 70, which is this low here, and it held again. I just said, you know what, I'm going to risk off 70. If I wanted a wider risk, I could have kept my risk level as this original low here, but I didn't want to do that. And then I kind of just sold. I sold most of it here. My idea was to swing this because it was such a slow, illiquid sort of bounce. I felt like it might continue into the next day, but I did end up selling most of it here because I do lack patience. And then after hours, I just took almost the rest of it off and sold a little bit pre-market when it wasn't gapping up as I expected. But I did make, like I say, 195 off that as well. But this is a thing when you don't have these, back to the daily, when you don't have these clean charts. Get rid of that, makes it difficult. When you don't have these clean charts because of previous runs, you do have to be a little bit more cautious. But this is the one that I missed out on, CHSN. Now this, okay, Chinese ticker, massive run. I think after hours it got up to like 48 or something like that on this day, and I'm gutted that I didn't trade this because I had an intuition about this, because I have seen this happen so many times. So we can see here, it has this actually back to the daily. We can see firstly from the daily, okay, it's capable. It's capable of doing some pretty nutty things, both on the way up and the way down. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, one of the things that really stood out to me about this ticker. Then when we look at day one, it has this, it wasn't on my radar at all here during this time, and then it has this halt up fest, and when it does that, it's obviously on my radar, and I'm looking at the level 2 because it gives you a price indication of where it's going to unhalt at, what price. When it's in a halt, what price will it unhalt at? And the gaps were just huge, and so it was quite exciting to watch it, really. And when I see that, I looked at the daily and I thought, this is going to do one of them crazy things and go up to, like, 50 or something like that. And it just knew that it would. And when I had that intuition, my thoughts just went, just leave it. It kind of dismissed my own thinking. And then I came back and I said to myself, no, this is one of those times when you know you're right and you can dismiss it. Just watch the ticker and watch what you're looking for. You know that you're going to look for a double bottom near VWAP. That is what I look for on these kind of parabolic day ones, or even like fun. Do you remember fun? PHUN, when they have these parabolics. It doesn't have to be day one, but a real parabolic and then a real panic, then a double bottom near VWAP, and then it can have another push. Or double bottom can be below VWAP, but generally it does need a double bottom. Otherwise, I'm guessing, completely guessing. So it had this double bottom here. Let's zoom in here, and I was looking to get in at 8, and I had $8. Ideally I would have liked it more closer to VWAP, but I could see that this was the level that was holding. So I had 8 typed into my order box, finger on buy, and I just didn't pull the trigger. Not only was it scared to lose, but it was also, I've got different charts on my screens, and my main chart is right in front of me, which is the minute chart, and this was on my side chart, and the side chart was under the 10 minutes time frame, and I didn't actually realise it was on a 10-minute time frame. And so on the 10-minute chart, we can see here, let's get rid of that, it doesn't actually double bottom. You need a smaller time frame. And so I'm looking at it thinking, I can see by the level 2, I was like, this is double bottomed. But I thought I was watching the minute chart and couldn't really get my head around what was going on. Even if I was watching the minute chart, maybe I wouldn't have taken it, but I would have been far more likely to. So yeah, really weird situation there, really. So yeah, it has this double bottom, and then the kind of after hours just rips to new highs, reaching a high of 45. And it's easy to say, oh yeah, I would have made this much, would have made that much. I basically probably would have sold it all here or here, if I had, I don't know, because I did kind of have it in my head that this is going to be one of those crazy ones, and so I might have held some of it, but I definitely would have held, wouldn't have held all the position or the majority of position this long. But that's the one that I missed, and then I missed one today. I did take it, but oh man, traded it badly. So OTRK. Now this, if you start by looking at the daily chart here, this came up on my scan this morning, and it was just the one ticker that stood out to me, because I know the ticker name OTRK, and I just know that this can run. I looked at the daily chart and stuff, and you see it can put in runs. But I just know the ticker. I just know it's capable. So that was initially what brought my eyes to it, and then the second reason was that it was a recent reverse split. Okay, so we know that these splits have lower flows and tend to run. We know how that works. But the third reason was SBOR yesterday was one of the big percent gainers that was a recent split. So all of these sort of indicators are saying this is the one that can run. That being said, this is how I traded it. So in addition to that, I checked the filings, and I could see that the filings had warrants at like, I think $5.16. So I knew that the likelihood, not the likelihood it is, I knew that there was room for this to run before any sort of potential dilution or any sort of any of the bigger boys sort of messing with the price. So I thought they're going to try and pump it to there. However, my thesis was great. Do you know what I mean? I was ticking all these boxes and I was right, but I didn't really have conviction in what I'd thought these things, but didn't really have any conviction in it. And that is something I need to improve. It was kind of laziness. It was just a bit of laziness, I think, because I was aware that yesterday we had some big runners, and therefore today I should be thinking, okay, cool, like have conviction in your plan and put some risk on. I didn't do that, but I did buy it really well, and so I looked at the pre-market action and I thought, well, I can risk off this level here, this 294 level. Where's that going? This 294 level, the pre-market support is opening near there, and obviously when we see these tickers opening near, sometimes when we see these tickers opening near their pre-market supports, that's where they can run from, as opposed to opening near their highs and then sort of retracing. It doesn't always work like that, but it is something that I do kind of keep an eye on. So I bought it 305 here, when it had a little dip in, like right out the gate. You see, it had a little dip just under 3, held, and then started to push. So I just marketed in at 305. Here I didn't have a real conviction or plan about where I was going to sell. I know I had the idea in my head at 516 was where the warrants were, but I kind of forgot about it and kind of doubted myself and doubted my plan, and I sold it all here. And yeah, I made like, I think like $70 on it. And the size I took was too small as well. So it's just all kind of scared trading, no conviction, and a little bit lazy as well. Despite doing the research and developing a good thesis, it was kind of, yeah, some energy was missing. Cool. So that's the trades for, the past week or so. Cool, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Moving forward, what I would like to do is just put a bit of risk on and develop a little bit more self-belief and recognize that I am trading pretty well. I am in the flow of the market, and now is the time to put a risk on, assuming that the market is offering the same kind of opportunities. Cheers.